Hey everyone, Cody from Mactelecom Networks. A few months ago, Ubiquiti showed off a couple new doorbells, and the first doorbells out of the G6 series, the G6 entry and the G6 Pro entry. Both of these doorbells could be used in residential homes, or you could use it for your business, and they'll integrate with UniFi Protect or UniFi Access. With using UniFi Access, you'll be able to unlock your UniFi Access doors. In this video, we're only going to be looking at the G6 entry. I won't be doing a comparison between all the doorbells. I'm waiting for the G6 Pro entry to come out, and then we're going to have all the doorbells on a board, and we'll see the differences between them. So let's get started. And this is the G6 entry. It is a very nice looking doorbell. At the top, we have an LED light for visibility, and we also have our microphones. Below that, we have our camera. So this is a 2K camera with 5 megapixel image sensor. Down below in the middle under the logo, it says NFC, and this is an integrated access reader, so you could use this to unlock your UniFi Access doors. We also have IR LEDs, so we could do up to 5 meters or 16 feet of IR night vision, and we also have the doorbell, which the press button feels really nice. On the very bottom, we have the speaker, and there is a status LED. On the very back of the G6 entry at the bottom, there's a tamper switch. So I would assume that a siren will go off if somebody tries to take this off of your wall, and we'll test that out. And they also have this grommet, which they do have a caution saying to use the grommet for weatherproofing. So I'm going to pull it out. It may be a little hard to see, but we do have an Ethernet port, and it is going to require PoE+. The nice thing about the connection on this doorbell is that it's recessed in. So we don't need to make a major hole in our wall, say we're doing it on a house, into brick, like we would have to with the G4 Doorbell Pro. I'm glad that they designed it this way. For the G6 entry, there is going to be a couple different mounting options. So we have this first one, which is a little wider, and this is the faceplate for it. If you just want the doorbell to be directly on your wall and look a little bit cleaner and thinner, you could use this one. There also will be a wedge mount that's included. Now what I'm going to have to do, I need to take off my doorbell light, and we need to get this installed on my front of the house. Hopefully the screw holes line up. If not, we're going to have to drill some holes. The first thing I need to do is to take off the doorbell light, which comes off by the security screw on the bottom. Next, we're going to put the bracket on for the new G6 entry, and luckily my holes lined up for that bracket. After the bracket's on, it's time to put the G6 entry on, and it's very important to put the grommet in place. You can see that I dropped it here, but I picked it back up and I put the grommet so that it is weatherproof. We don't want any moisture getting into that port, as it will break the doorbell camera. All right, and the installation is now done for the G6 entry, and you can see within UniFi Protect application, we have the G6 entry right on top. I'm going to click it to adopt. Now that it's adopting, you can see that it is preparing for an update. So I'll wait for that to be done, and then we'll take a look at the camera and some of the settings that it has. The G6 entry is now fully updated within UniFi Protect. But what happens if we go over to UniFi Access? Are we going to see the G6 entry? And no, we're not going to see it. The reason for this, the G6 entry needs to be plugged directly into a UniFi Access hub if you want to see it in both, so in UniFi Access and UniFi Protect. After we look at the settings, I will plug it into a UniFi Access hub so that I can show you how that looks. Clicking on the G6 entry, we could see right here under the overview that we have our two cameras. So we have our main camera, and then we have our package detection camera. And it's also going to tell us all of our status information, connection model, device version, last motion. It will also do our frames per second, which the main camera is 30 frames per second, our bitrate, uptime, and then the last ring. Below that, we have a bunch of different alarms, and we could go into Alarm Manager. Now going over to our recording settings, we could scroll up, and then we could tell it when we want it to record. I always have mine on 24/7 recording, but you could do a custom schedule, or you could have it never recording if you want. Then we have our recording mode. So we could do continuous, we could do event only, or we could do adaptive. So with adaptive, it records in lower quality when no activity is detected and automatically switches to high quality during motion or smart detections. We also have different AI events, and this is the first doorbell that gives us facial recognition as well as license plate recognition. So we have animal, face, license plate, package, person, and vehicle. And if we edit video detection types, you could turn on or off any one that you want. We also do have our different audio detections, and there is quite a few. So we have baby crying, barking, car alarm, car horn, CO alarm, glass breakage, siren, smoke alarm, and we also have speaking. We could edit the audio detection types, and then we have create motion events as well. So the seconds of motion needed to trigger detections, seconds to record before events, and seconds to record afterwards. We also do have this tamper detection. So what does that mean? Well, if it detects if the camera is physically moved or obstructive, it's logged as a timeline event and can trigger alarms or automations. Recommended for security critical installations. I'm not too sure if it does play a physical alarm. I thought that it would, but we will test that out before the end of this video. I'm leaving all of my stuff on the default, but you can change your recording quality for FPS, video compression, and encoding, and we could also do our recording resolution, and then we have our overlay information. So if you want the timestamp to be on there, you could use that, or if you want to take off the logo, and you could say where it is positioned. Now, under our zones and lines, this is where we would make our motion zones, as well as our smart detection zones, crossing lines, and privacy blackouts. So it will be both for our main camera and for our package detection camera. Now, under our settings, this is where we could give it a name, and then we could do our microphone sensitivity. We could disable the microphone because in certain states, you need to make sure of your local laws if you're allowed to record audio. There is two-way talk within this doorbell camera. Now, the rest of the stuff is pretty much basic on every other camera. We have our HDR, night vision, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go over the advanced settings for this, but I am going to add a chime to this because we don't currently have a chime on this. So if we scroll down to the bottom, we could see paired chimes, and I'm going to add. I only do have my one front door chime, so we're going to save that. And I'm also going to look at the enhancer. So we have color night vision. So what this does, the camera spotlight will colorize nighttime detections recordings. It lights up when an object is detected in a specific detection zone. Please note that the spotlight's range is 5 meters. So this will turn the spotlight off after 15 seconds of motion. That's by default, but you could go all the way up to a minute. I think 15 seconds is quite long enough, and we're pretty much done with the setup. So let's take a look at the image quality of this doorbell camera. This is the G6 entry camera image, and this is all default. I didn't change any of the settings. We could see our main camera, and then we could see our package camera on the bottom. Now, it has a nice wide angle, and you can see in the corner here, I do have a tripod set up for when I was recording, but I do like the height of this camera. You're going to be able to see the whole person's body who is at your door. A lot of doorbell cameras, they do struggle with this. So when you're walking up to the doorbell, it may capture your face, but when you get very close to it, it will just capture your chest. In the top left, we have our G6 entry, and it's showing both of the cameras. If we just want to see the main camera, we could click on that. Or if we just want to see the package detection camera, we could also take a look at that. And in the top right, we have our add shortcuts, and then we have different things that we would want to see within the live view. So I'm going to select face, person, and then vehicle. But they also do have vehicle type, vehicle cover, license plate. They have animal, confidence level, object idle time, or you could show all on hover. If we wanted to take a snapshot of what this currently is looking at, we could do that, and then we have our settings to change any of the camera settings that we want. This is a small comparison between the doorbell Lite and the G6 entry. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to compare all the doorbells once the Pro is out. But on the left-hand side, this is the doorbell Lite, and on the right-hand side, that's the G6 entry. In my opinion, the G6 entry quality looks better. For the doorbell Lite, you could tell that it is a little bit wider. We see more of the left-hand side, but on the G6 entry, we do have more height, which I do prefer, because on the side of my house, I have a camera there, and it is really nice to have that package detection. I've been using the doorbell Lite, and it is a great camera if you just want doorbell, but I have been missing that package detection because I do get a lot of Amazon deliveries. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk in front of the doorbell a few times and see how well it picks up my face. It won't be picking up any license plate reading because of where it's located currently. After that, I'm going to get it into UniFi Access with a UniFi Access hub so that we could see it both in UniFi Access and UniFi Protect. We're then going to program an NFC card so that if you do have this at your business with using Electric Strike or a Maglock, you could see how that works. Then when it becomes darker outside, we're going to take a look at the night vision and the color night vision. I walked in front of the doorbell twice today as I was going to pick up some material for a job, and it did pick my face up both times, so that's great to see. Now let's take a listen to the audio.
Audio test 1 2 3 4. 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 You should be able to see me way up top, and you should be able to see my whole body, as that's the height of the doorbell. So hopefully that's working well. Now we need to get the doorbell put into UniFi Access.
This is the setup I have for UniFi Access, and it's using the gate hub and being powered up by PoE++ on my switch. On port 1, that's where the G6 entry is getting its power from. I didn't factory reset the G6 entry doorbell, and I may have to do that, but we could see that the UA gate hub is ready to be adopted within my UniFi Access, which is running on my UMBR. So let's get it adopted, and we'll see if the doorbell comes up. If not, I'll have to do a factory reset. I did have to reset the G6 entry as I wasn't seeing it pop up in Access, but you can see it's here now. And if we go back over to UniFi Protect, you can see that it's in here as well. So it's in both places. So we could view it either in UniFi Access or within UniFi Protect. So that's really nice. And that's going through the UniFi Access Gate Hub. How do we go ahead and add an NFC card to a user? Well, we're in UniFi Access right now, but if we go to the bottom left-hand corner and we go to Admins and Users, I'm going to select on this user, which is myself, and then we're going to go over to our settings wheel. We're going to scroll down below and we're going to see that we have NFC, and I have 2 different NFC cards in here already. I'm going to delete both of those, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to re-add an NFC card. So I'm going to click on the plus icon. I'm going to add the UniFi Access key fob, and we need to go up to our reader. So I'm going to select the G6 entry and we're going to press continue. I'm going to have to run downstairs and hold this there for 5 seconds. The UA Pocket has now been registered. I'm going to press assign and then I'm going to apply the changes. So I could use that. Say I did have an electric strike, I would just put it up to the G6 entry and it would unlock my door. Another nice feature, if you're integrating the G6 entry into UniFi Access, we could have that playing over the intercom viewer. So we have an intercom viewer here. We're going to go over to the interface designer. From the interface designer, we're going to add a doorbell call and we're going to add a receiver. Then we're going to select the UA intercom viewer and we're going to press save. After pressing save, you can now see the G6 entry picture showing up on the intercom viewer. I know we've gone through a lot, but I'm going to show you 2 more things. Before I put the G6 entry into the UniFi Access Hub, I recorded some video for the tampering, and I did create an alarm. I'll show you what alarm I created. So I'll create an alarm, then I went to activity, and we went to tampering. We would have done the scope, and I would have put in the G6 entry right here, but it is grayed out because it is inside of UniFi Access right now. Then if we look over on the action, what I would have done is click on notify and the receiver would be myself. I clicked on this critical alert. So it says enable critical alert. This alarm will notify you even if your phone is in silent mode, which my phone is in silent mode, and I'll press enable. We're going to test the tamper alarm within the G6 entry doorbell and see if it comes off with an audible sound. I did set up an alarm within Alarm Manager as well, so I'm just going to grab the screwdriver, I'm going to loosen the screw and try pulling it off. So I've loosened the screw, but that tamper switch would still be pushed in, so I'm going to pull the doorbell off and we're going to see if it gives us a noise. And you can see that it does, and once I push it back on the wall, the tamper stops, and we should get something within our system log. I did get system logs of the tampering, and it also showed up on my phone. So this is what the alert looked like. Tamper detection recorded. Mactelecom UNVR G6 entry has detected tamper, and you can see it says a minute ago, but we could look back at our recordings if somebody was actually fooling around with their G6 entry. So the last thing that we need to do is to check out the night vision. What we're looking at here is the night vision. I've turned the color night vision off and I'm walking up towards the camera. You'd see on the package detection camera that a little light went on, and I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to step back and then we're going to end up doing the color night vision. That will be the next thing that we see. But I step back and it is still a pretty clear picture. What we're going to look at now is the color night vision, and this is at 6:30 at night. It gets dark here. This is the darkest it will get all night long. So I'm going to press play and we'll see it go from night vision to the color night vision. You'd see me walking up and it will take a second to flick over. Now this is the color night vision and it does look pretty good. I'm going back down the step and we could still recognize my face. There is a bit of pixelation, but all in all, it does look fairly good. And that's going to be my video on the G6 entry camera, and I really do like this camera. You may have noticed that I was doing the night vision pretty early. It was about 5:30 or 5:40 p.m. While here in Toronto or near Toronto, Canada, it gets dark very early. This is the darkest my street will get. We have a bunch of street lights, so it doesn't really get pitch black. This camera only being $249 and integrating with UniFi Protect and UniFi Access if you have the UniFi Access Hub, I think is a steal. This is going to be great for me when I'm doing access doors and they don't want the traditional G3 readers and they want a physical push doorbell button on it. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of the G6 entry. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.